Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our latest edition of Hope for Healing Talks with Adele Cole. Adele is a dear friend of mine, and she is such a great resource for a lot of crunchy things. And we share that passion. She is a Lyme coach, and I'm going to turn it over to her and let her tell you a little bit about herself. And then we're going to talk about Zyto scanning and what it is and what it can do for your fertility and why you should care about it. So thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. I love doing these appearances, these interviews, because a lot of what I do, people don't know a lot about. And so it's nice to be able to share that. And though my world may not seem to cross into yours in terms of infertility, it actually does more than people know, as you and I have discovered in chatting with each other. So
yeah,
nice to be here, Erica. I'm Adele, like Erica said. I'm up here in chilly, frigid central Pennsylvania. So you'll see me double fisting during this event with my cold hydration and my warm beverage, as it's practically snowing outside. It might as well be right now. I know, Erica's so jealous in Florida. I am a registered nurse by trade. I have a background in critical care nursing. But before I even tackled healthcare, what actually kind of led me down that path was my own journey with chronic illness. Most, if not all, of what I experienced chronically was due to undiagnosed and long time untreated Lyme disease and co-infections from other tick-borne illnesses. And then, as you can imagine, a suppressed immune system and yada, yada. I had a whole gamut laundry list of autoimmune diseases and undiagnosable weird things. Saw all the doctors you can imagine. So in a lot of ways, I identify with what the infertility world goes through to get answers sometimes, because it's been a journey for myself. And this started for me back when I was still a kid. From my investigations, it seems I was infected around age 11, wasn't diagnosed till I was partway through my teenage years, and didn't get proper treatment for my conditions until I was in my mid-20s. So I had gone probably at least 12 years, if not longer, without proper treatment, spinning my wheels with a diagnosis. So all of that led me kind of into healthcare, just because I always loved science anyway, and it was my life. My life was navigating the healthcare system. So why not work in that field, right? You're either going to love it or hate it after that, So I became a registered nurse, worked in a hospital setting, now work for myself. I switched gears in the past couple of years to become a Lyme coach and educator, and have in the last year added Zyto scanning to my repertoire. But I love it because Zyto scanning is the one thing that I do specifically right now that applies to everybody. I knew that I liked Lyme coaching, and that's a specialty that I offer, but I want to branch out into holistic health for everybody. And as I grow my own practice and my own knowledge and my own education myself, I will have this and more to offer as time goes on. So,
yeah. So for those of you watching later, by the way, if you're watching later, go ahead and hashtag replay so that we know that you saw it. But Adele was talking about advocating for herself in the medical community. We know going through infertility, it's very similar. And I don't know if you picked up on some of the other key areas, but just some of the dismissal of diagnosis, the long-term progression before a diagnosis. It took me 12 or 13 years before I got my endometriosis diagnosis, and that's pretty typical. It's about average. So these are the connection points between someone going through Lyme and someone going through infertility. And I want to jump into Zyto. We could kind of talk about that all day, but let's talk about Zyto. So what is Zyto? Like, what is it?
Okay, here's your visual aid. This is Zyto. This is the piece of equipment needed for Zyto scanning, and it looks freaky, futuristic, like a robot hand, right? It's just like a mouse on your computer. You stick your hand on this thing and it plugs into the computer by a USB port. And we use a software to analyze your body. Now I'll get into even more about what that looks like. That's the long and short of it, and the physical, like, I don't know, whatever, visual aid, like I said, so you could see what I'm talking about when I talk about Zyto scanning. Okay. So,
and we sometimes call that a cradle too.
oh, right. Yeah. Thank you, Erica. This is called a hand cradle. I think it's a weird name, so I don't use it as much. And I'm glad Erica reminded me, because that is the universal term for this little doodad. And this is what the one thing that's required for Zyto scanning on the participant's end, on the client's end. The rest I do by a software, and the training I've had. So I got into Zyto scanning with my family a couple years ago, having wanted to do it for a while and not being able to really find a practitioner. I wanted to see someone knowledgeable in Zyto scanning so we could use it really comprehensively. And I'll explain more about what that looks like. But I finally found someone locally referred by a friend, and I was like, hallelujah. And not only did I get really good Zyto scanning opportunities for our family, but I also made a really good friend out of this woman that was doing the scans. And over the years, she actually offered to train me and pass on the knowledge, the holistic healing, since I already was a nurse and had the medical background that way, and a holistic drive. That's where I've put my time and attention. This tool was a good fit for me. So she trained me, and I've been doing it ever since. So this is a holistic tool. I'll just say it that way. A holistic modality, a holistic tool. It is not a diagnostic tool. I want to be really clear about that right up front. Kind of my disclaimer is, I'm not here to treat, cure, diagnose, or otherwise participate in your medical care in that way. That's above my scope of practice, and frankly, unsafe. At the end of the day, you should see a trusted medical provider for your medical needs. However, as a tool, this can provide additional insight that you're not going to find in the traditional medicine community. You're not going to get any kind of data like this any other way. And I'll talk about what that looks like. But what is the scanning itself? How is this even possible? This is known as bioenergetic scanning. It is a way to look at your biology and your energy in a quantifiable way, instead of just being like, oh, your aura seems to indicate that you're feeling green today. It's not like that. Okay. Right. It is actual technology that is actually FDA approved. This whole system is FDA approved. What it's called is the galvanic skin response that it takes from the hand cradle through your hand. It's painless. Like, most people don't feel anything. There's nothing to it. You just sit there with your hand on it. But that galvanic skin response is being assessed through the hand cradle and the software. It's the same technology as lie detector testing uses. So you guys have been familiar with this technology your whole lives, probably. You just didn't realize that it could be used in other ways, right? So it's similar to that. It's similar to that. It gives you data, and the software helps analyze the data further, and then a trusted, knowledgeable provider can take it even further and put pieces together for you to see what is stressful to your body from any number of stressors. I'm talking viruses, bacteria, toxins, chemicals, hormones, emotions, you name it, allergens, any stressors it can look at on all of your body. And it also looks at your mental health, your emotional well-being, and stressors to your emotions, which is really cool. You're not going to find that in traditional medicine, where it's connected for you, automatically connects. And you're not just going to be left with a list of, oh, here's how your body's stressed. Okay, thanks. Great.
Not helpful.
Right. Yeah, so helpful. Thank you. The main awesome part is you're going to also be able to extrapolate, the software will extrapolate a list of balancers for you. That's the term Zyto uses for the good things your body and mind are asking for that you may not realize they need. And balancers are basically any holistic modality or tool. So food, affirmations, color therapy, even You can look at gemstones, you can look at frequencies, but you also look at supplements, vitamins, homeopathy, essential oils. What kind of services might your body be asking for? Chiropractor, acupuncture, certain detox methods. And that's just a quick example. It's even deeper than that specifically. And knowing what a client is looking at. So if you're looking at infertility stuff, we can kind of customize your scan around those things. So we look at all the organs, glands, and systems. Zyto looks at, like I said, emotions. And then there's some traditional Chinese medicine mixed in there too, that we can utilize. And frequently I do meridians and different vertebrae points on your body that correlate to your nervous system and how that is impacted physically and emotionally too. So even your teeth is a category that correlates not just to like your oral health, yes, duh, but also has roots in holistic medicine for teeth points, different tooth areas. Yeah,
nerve
being
areas,
connected to nerves and also whole body systems too, organs. So it's all interconnected. And that's what is one of the biggest benefits that I think you get from Zyto scanning, that again, you get from nothing else out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so if you're listening to Adele talk about how you can drill down on these body systems and get this bioenergetic feedback, you can clearly see how this would be a benefit to moving towards your best fertility health, right? Because if you get scanned, we all know that infertility is very stressful, right? But if there's something specifically that your body is needing, a deficit to cope with the additional stresses, or if your body is, you might be able to say this better, utilizing an organ, how would that work? What does it look like to use a Zyto scan for your best infertility, for your best fertility health?
Right. That's a really good point. Let me just say it really clearly what this does, since it's not diagnostic. You might be wondering, okay, so what's it telling me then if it's not diagnosing a cause for infertility or whatever? What it's showing you is layers of your health. And again, that's where I come in to help you see what that looks like on a screen with data. And I'm going to give you guys a resource today that has like actual screenshots in it. So and explanations of how that, like, you may not understand it all just from looking at the document I'm going to give to you guys today, but I've provided you an explanation of how that translates or could translate to your health being better supported. And that's the word that I think is the clearest to use. This helps you better support your health. And it supports the idea, the theory that's true, that your body is designed to heal. It's trying constantly to be its best self. So if there's a cause for infertility, you better believe your body's trying to work on that, but you may not know how to work in sync with your body. Zyto gives you the tools to support your body the way it's asking to be supported without you having to guess. It takes away the guessing game of like, well, do I need to see a chiropractor? Do I need to get some acupuncture? Do I need to eat a certain food or take a certain supplement or detox a certain way? That can be very overwhelming and can especially result in a lot of wasted time, energy, and money. And you don't have a lot of that to waste, especially if you're looking to start a family sooner rather than later. While I can't and would never promise anyone, infertility or not, that you're going to get quick answers, as you utilize this tool, especially ongoing, you will start to dive into layers of healing that you may not realize are downstream impacting other areas that are downstream impacting fertility eventually. So it's not always like, oh, I see a hormone is out of whack, my thyroid's a little funky, here we go, we're going to fix that right up this month and we'll be good to go. I'm not going to promise you that either. As someone that has walked through a chronic journey, but what I can tell you is it's going to get you to the end goal faster by its ability to cancel out what doesn't matter and hone in and zoom in on the layers of healing that do matter. And what I mean by that in one just quick example, and when I scan with people, we talk about this even further because it's individualized. But what I mean by this is specifically, you're going to see on a scan some stressed out areas, organs or hormones or neurotransmitters or something.
Mm.
You're also going to see those same things, organs, the hormones, emotions, whatever, that are going to be not even registering on the scan, potentially zeros on the scan, because it's going to rate things by numerically, by numbers. You're going to see literal zeros. Those are what we keep our eye on, because those are the things your body isn't even dealing with right now. And maybe for some of you, that's leading to some root causes for dealing with infertility too.
Mm-hmm.
So you will not find a picture like this anywhere in the medical system. And that's why I come back to that. If you're looking for what it takes potentially to get some odd answers, or you've tried, a lot of things and you're not sure what you're looking at for your next leveling up in your health and wellness, by all means, this would be the number one thing I would recommend to anyone dealing with anything, because you're not going to get another picture like this. So when we start to see those zeros, I start to think that's where we're heading. We got to deal with some of these bigger stressors that are definitely popping up. And as we, again, scan repeatedly over time and start to look at these things and apply the balancers, we're going to start to see these zero things, the lower level things bubbling up. And that's when we're starting to get to the root of what's really going on. Even if we never fully understand all the interconnectedness, sometimes it still remains a little bit of a mystery. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get to the bottom of things by utilizing balancers that are showing up. So you don't have to have all the answers to still see results. That's amazing. I mean, I like answers, but I like results better.
Right. And remember, you guys, the balancers can be food, it can be supplements, it could be a lot of different things.
You get to choose them. Also, I should have said that at the end of the day, when I scan with people, I might help make recommendations, but you're going to get a huge list of balancers. We don't pick more than 10. We don't want this to be overwhelming. We don't want you to not do it. Why would you waste your time and energy and money? I mean, I'm not here for that. So you help pick your list of balancers. If you don't want to buy a new supplement, we won't pick a new supplement unless you feel like it's worth it to do that. If you don't want to eat Brussels sprouts and they're up towards the top of what your body's asking for, we'll negotiate. Will you eat a Brussels sprout every once in a while or not? If you won't, we won't put it on there. We're not going to set you up to fail at achieving this result, right? I want your best success. And it's easy to do that because we can collaborate easily.
Yeah. So somebody might say to you, and I'm sure people have, so what is the difference between this and food allergy testing? Or what is the difference? What is this telling me that my blood work is not telling me about my vitamin, say vitamin D or vitamin B or whatever? So what can you say to them? How can you speak to that?
Sure. So again, to reiterate, it's not diagnostic to use a Zyto scan. Okay. That being said, sometimes it will correlate to diagnoses. I've had that experience. I had strep throat tonsillitis pop up on my Zyto scan before I was officially diagnosed by a physician with that. It correlated and it was correct. That's what I had as an example. However, that's not a guarantee, but that's okay. You're actually going to get more data from Zyto scanning, lab work, and other diagnostic testing. So whatever, allergen testing, food allergies, all that stuff is useful, but it's still limited. It's not giving you a bigger picture than that one result. So if you have low vitamin D, great, you know it, and you can supplement it. However, how the low vitamin D is impacting your body and exactly how your body is going to best assimilate and absorb a source of vitamin D is more of what you're going to get out of a Zyto scan.
That's a great example.
If vitamin D really is stressing your body out, maybe you're not absorbing vitamin D because of an underlying emotional issue that's impacting an organ that's associated with vitamin D absorption. How would you ever know that with traditional medicine? Maybe with a really good provider, every once in a while, you hit the nail on the head, but that's like some magical medicine right there. Like, I mean, and I know that this might sound like a magical hand cradle, but it's not magic. It's utilizing technology in a functional way for our best wellness advice. I had written something down. I want to make sure I don't forget to say this. So let me just check my notes so I don't tangent too badly. So Zyto's going to show your body's needs in real time. Okay. And over time with repeat scanning, which is typically recommended, but I talk about that on a case-by-case basis. So in general, I'm making generalizations. So that's what allows layers of healing to happen. It's like checking your blood work to check your vitamin D levels every month to make sure they're not going down. Same idea there. There's a similarity, but this is actually going to work on more than just one point at a time. This is working on multiple factors of healing at a time that all impact each other. Okay. Right. So it actually might get that vitamin D level higher compared to just taking a supplement and hoping that's the right supplement and the right dose that works in the right amount of time for you. It can happen, you know, I can't make any promises for everybody, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Also, this is important, I think, in the infertility world to hear that Zyto scanning, can show areas that need support that blood work alone may miss or can't easily check on. Right. So I know, I don't know all there is to know about infertility, but I have walked some lady business issue journeys myself, especially related to Lyme disease. And I know that thyroid stuff is easy to miss or to test normal for and still have an issue with that organ in your body, right? Right. That's a great example of of a way that you might feel your thyroid might be off, let's just say. And your doctor might check it out and say, no, you're fine. You might see endocrine. They might be like, your levels are great. I don't know. They're in the normal range. So you're fine. Check the box, moving on. It's not that. Zytoscan will show you if your thyroid organ is indeed causing you stress. And maybe it's not, you know, great if it's not. But that's an example of where blood work and an evaluation from a specialist could miss an organ that is indeed stressed out. It might just not have crapped out yet. It might still be functioning. But your optimal functioning might be different than a lab result is going to show you. So also, we can't check on every organ and lab in our body. We can't really check our brain function. Our neurotransmitters are testable, but hard to get a good read on depending on how we feel. Some organs are just not easily testable, right? Our emotions, can't test those, can't do a lab for emotional health. So we can get some answers from some tests or some lab results. Even our gut health, like food allergy testing is notoriously flawed. What if you could tolerate foods more because you're healing other layers of health better, and that's not an issue for you anymore? Even though a food allergy test might have said it was last year or something. Zyto gives you possibility in your healing and more hope than just trending labs or just seeing specialists, frankly.
Yeah. So you guys should be really excited to hear all of this. It gets me excited to provide this information to you. If you're watching in replay, first of all, #replay, but if you're watching and you want Adele to come back and dive deeper into, well, okay, I hear you saying emotions, like, I don't get what that looks like. How can it really identify emotions? I want to hear more about this. We're not going to take up too much more of your time today, but we can do a part 2. So if you have questions now that you've kind of dipped your toe in the Zyto pool and you feel like, okay, like I kind of get it. But I need more information. If you have those kind of questions, go ahead and drop them here in the comments. One thing I wanted to touch on, you might be sitting here wondering, well, she's got a cradle over there, but I'm sitting here, I don't have a cradle. Let's clear that up about what that looks like and how you can actually get scanned remotely. You might have a practitioner in your area that can do Zyto scanning, and you might not. And Adele is available, of course, to do remote scan. So what happens if any of the ladies here want to do a remote scan?
Sure. First of all, if you have access to other Zyto providers, awesome. Just know that we all operate a little bit differently, and we've all been trained a little bit differently, potentially, just like any doctor, too, though we're not doctors. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to relate
Any
to what you might
practitioner,
know.
right?
Any
Yeah,
practitioner, any provider of any service,
yeah.
right? Find one that works for you, whether it's me or not. But I am here for any type of scanning. I do local scans. If you missed the beginning, I'm in central Pennsylvania. So I scan in person, of course, but also remote scanning is easily possible, which is awesome because it's all technology based. So the main component is this hand cradle. That's what the client needs to have on hand to scan. That and a computer system of some sort that you can plug the USB into and download the software on. I can get you free software download that I can plug into, and we can connect the Zyto software from my computer to yours remotely. And typically it's either like a Zoom call like this or a phone call at the same time to go over the result, like what we're seeing as the scan progresses. It scans in parts. So you have to get your hand on a hand cradle to do remote scanning, but the options there really quickly, just so you know what that looks like. I can get one new from the company for you, and you usually I just use your credit card information if you allow me, and it typically runs about $250, everything included, shipping, tax, all this stuff. I can't give you an exact total until I would order it, but it's usually around $250 to get a brand new one. They're great with customer service. They're an excellent company. Like if you had any needs with your cradle, you could get it taken care of having bought new right from the company. But you can also often find used cradles pretty easily. I actually went ahead and I did a quick Facebook marketplace search today for used Zyto cradles. I found one. Now I know my marketplace is like near me that it's searching for me, but if you look even just like weekly or every once in a while, pop in there, you'll find them. I found one today for $180. I think they were asking $10 shipping. I probably could have negotiated. I would have tried to negotiate even a little better deal than that. And you can often get them used for $150 to $175, sometimes less. And often, if you know someone, you can often borrow or rent a cradle from them whenever you need it, whenever you're going to get scanned. So you've got options if you want to get a hand cradle. Don't let that stop you. Once you have it, it's yours. You can scan anytime, with me or whatever. Remote is easy.
Yeah. So the hardware doesn't change. The technology that would be updated would be the software, and that can easily be downloaded or updated. If you wanted to do this long term. So, well, we're gonna drop Adele's contact information, her scheduling link, and she mentioned earlier, but if you came on a little bit late, she's got a freebie for you to help explain Zyto if you're a visual learner and you need to read things and kind of digest them a little bit slower than us fast talking people on Zoom. Then take a look at that. And again, let me know and let us know if you want to have Adele back for like a part 2 in-depth about Zyto. So Adele, thank you so much for being on here today. It's really exciting to talk about.
I love it. And I really appreciate the time. Thanks for having me, Erica. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Hey, bye-bye.